John got to talking one day, want to make some true Tennessee whiskey. Well, I told him he had to find some Tennessee red cob corn someplace, because that's what it was made out of. Because it's not resistant to nothing. Well, we raised about 3/4 acre, maybe a little bit more out there, and we picked it. I shelled it, and John made some true Tennessee whiskey out of it. It is true Tennessee, and he still got a little bit of it left.
Whiskey, or a spirit of any kind for that matter, hasn't been legally distilled in Lawrence County since David Crockett's mill and distillery washed away in the flood of 1821. Now, 200 years later, Maury County resident John Hatcher is marking new territory along the Buffalo River.
The main thing about being a distillery is it's not about the spirit as much as about the local economy. I think it drives in the future that, and again, we want to start and build a brand. So we're looking at the long-term future. And I think it's great to involve the farmers. I think it's good to involve the local community. That a distillery is no different than any other center. It's not about the alcohol as much as it's what it creates. You know, there's tourism, there's agriculture. It's a good product. So we make 1821 Shine is the name, and that's in reference to David Crockett. And actually in 1821, 200 years ago, is when his distillery washed away in the flood on Shoal Creek in Lawrence County. And then, so our aged moonshine would be our whiskey, which is a sweet mash whiskey. And then we make vodka, and then the vodka, from there we put botanicals and herbs in to make the gin. So those are our 4 base products.
For 100 of those years between Lawrence County distilleries, it was illegal to make whiskey in 92 of the 95 counties in the state. That was until Williamson County Attorney Heath Clark petitioned the state legislature to allow every county the option to legalize the distillation of spirits. That state law passed in 2009.
And that kind of piqued my interest, and I got started as kind of a hobby, and it's from my ancestors. That's where I got started, in the fact that my great-grandfather immigrated from Ireland in 1821. So it's always been a passion of mine and an interesting thing for me to do, to follow my ancestors from my grandfather down to... My mother was not a distiller, but she taught me how to make wine, and we fermented things, made kraut, so it's always been an interesting part of the chemistry and the formulas to me.
Why Lawrence County though? It's simple. The secret's not in the sauce, it's in the water.
The term sweet mash whiskey has a lot to do with the water and why we're here. It has to do with the pH of the water. And we're sitting in Lawrence County right on the edge of the limestone shelf and a sandstone shale shelf because iron is really close by from here. We have Iron City to the south, and along the Natchez Trace is where the iron ore foundries were back many years ago in the 1800s and early 1900s. And our water tests out at a perfect 5.3 pH. So we don't have to add anything to our mash to make the enzymes work to break that starch down. So we use fresh ingredients from start to finish in our product. So it's really an ideal place to make and distill alcohol.
Gobbler Springs Distillery offers tours and free tastings by appointment. Please text 931-300-3753 to request a tour. More information about the distillery may be found at their website, gobblerspringsdistillery.com.
I'm just proud to be able to do what I want to do here. I think it's the main thing I've always wanted to do is make a product that I would drink myself and make a good spirit, and that's what my whole desire is about. And I think it's pretty cool to have the first distillery in a couple hundred years here in the county.